The distress call from the stars. The message came on an ordinary Tuesday. Deep Space Monitoring Station Theta 9 hung in the void beyond Neptune's orbit, its vast array of receivers constantly scanning the cosmos. Lieutenant Samira Khan was halfway through her 12-hour shift when the anomaly appeared, a pattern too regular to be natural, too persistent to be ignored. "Dr. Harris, you need to see this," she called, eyes fixed on her console. Dr. Marcus Harris, the station's senior astrophysicist, drifted across the low-gravity command center. At 58, with silver streaking his dark hair, he'd spent 30 years listening to the stars. Nothing had ever answered back. Until now. "How long has it been transmitting?" he asked, studying the rhythmic pulses on Samira's screen. "Signal first appeared 96 minutes ago. It's repeating on a 7-minute cycle. The computer confirms it's artificial." Harris felt a chill run through him. Humanity had been broadcasting into space for over 2 centuries. This was the first time something had replied. "Alert Earth Command. Priority Alpha." Within hours, the signal had been routed to United Earth Defense Force headquarters in Geneva. Commander Elena Reyes stood before the World Security Council, her uniform crisp, her expression grave. At 43, she'd fought in the Mars colonial conflict and led the UEDF through the Titan crisis. She'd never expected to be the one announcing humanity's first contact with extraterrestrial intelligence. "The signal contains encrypted data," Reyes explained, her voice steady. "Our quantum systems have decoded portions of it. It's a distress call." The chamber fell silent. 12 council members representing Earth's unified nations stared back at her, expressions ranging from disbelief to fear. "A distress call," echoed Councillor Zhao. "From whom?" "A species calling themselves the Arcanians. Their home system is under attack by another species known as the Vorkin. Based on the message, the Arcanians are facing extinction." Council President Okafor leaned forward. "How far away are they?" "Approximately 58 light-years. With our newest Hawking drives, we could reach them in 4 months." The implications hung in the air. Humanity had only recently developed interstellar technology. No human had ventured beyond the Sol system. Now they were considering an intervention in an alien war. "Why us?" asked Councillor Petrov. "Why would they send a message to a species they've never met?" Dr. Julia Chen, Earth's leading xenolinguist, stepped forward. "The message wasn't directed specifically at us, Counselor. They sent it in all directions, a desperate plea to anyone who might hear it. We just happened to be listening." The debate lasted 18 hours. Some argued for caution. Humanity knew nothing about either species. Others insisted on moral obligation. To ignore a cry for help would betray humanity's highest ideals. In her quarters that night, Commander Reyes reviewed the portions of the Arcanian message they decoded. Fragments of images showed a species with 4 arms and iridescent skin, their cities burning as dark ships descended from the sky. The final segment contained a single phrase, rendered imperfectly by the translation algorithm. "We die. Please. Anyone." Her comm unit chimed. "Commander, the Council has reached a decision. They're requesting your presence." When she arrived, she found only President Okafor waiting. The vote was 7-5, he said without preamble. "We will answer the call. The question now is how." Reyes had anticipated this. "We can't send diplomats or humanitarian aid to a war zone, sir. If we go, we need to go prepared to fight." "What are you proposing?" "Retribution fleet." Okafor's eyebrows rose. "Our entire deep space military capacity. The fleet has never operated outside our system. The fleet was built to protect Earth from existential threats, sir. If these Vorkins succeed in wiping out the Arcanians, who's to say we won't be next? Besides, the message is 58 years old. The situation has likely evolved. We need to be prepared for anything." 3 days later, Commander Reyes addressed the officers and crew of Retribution Fleet, 25 warships, 3 carrier vessels, and the massive dreadnought Thunderchild. Standing on the bridge of the flagship, She faced the holographic projections of 10,000 men and women about to make history. "You've all volunteered for a mission unlike any in human history," she began. "You're about to travel farther than any human ever has, to fight an enemy we know almost nothing about, in defense of a species we've never met." She paused, looking at the faces before her, determined, nervous, resolute. Some would call this mission foolhardy. Others call it noble. I call it human. Throughout our history, we've reached out to help those in need, even at great risk to ourselves. Today, we extend that tradition beyond our world. In 4 months, we will arrive at the Arcanian system. We don't know what we'll find there. The distress signal was sent 58 years ago. The Arcanians may already be gone, or they may be holding on by a thread, waiting for someone, anyone, to answer their call. If they still live, we will do everything in our power to save them. If they have fallen, we will bear witness to what happened, so their end is not forgotten. And if the Vorkans still threaten that system, they will learn what it means to face humanity in battle. As Reyes spoke, the massive ships of Retribution Fleet began powering up their hawking drives. On Earth, billions watched via live feed as humanity prepared for its first step onto the galactic stage. "We evolved on a planet that tried to kill us at every turn," Reyes continued. "We survived predators, plagues, natural disasters, and our own worst impulses. Earth forged us into something unique, a species that refuses to accept defeat, that adapts to any challenge, that stands against impossible odds." The Arcanians asked for help from anyone listening. They're about to discover they got the most dangerous species in the known galaxy. With a flash visible from Mars, Retribution Fleet vanished into folded space, leaving the safety of Earth behind. The journey was arduous. Hawking drives could only operate for 72 hours before requiring a 30-hour cooldown. The massive energy requirements meant strict rationing of non-essential systems during transit. In the Thunderchild's tactical center, Commander Reyes worked with her senior staff to prepare for every conceivable scenario. Major Takashi Hamada, leader of the 8,000 Marines aboard the fleet, developed ground combat strategies based on the limited information they had about both alien species. The Arcanians appear to have evolved in lower gravity than Earth, he noted, studying the images from their message. Their physical structure suggests they're about half as strong as the average human. The Vorkan, based on their ship's design and attack patterns, seem to favor overwhelming force over subtlety. Lieutenant Commander David Singh, the fleet's chief science officer, spent the journey analyzing the Arcanian language and technology. Their distress signal used quantum entanglement principles we've only recently mastered. In some ways their tech is ahead of ours, in others behind. They've clearly never developed military technology to match the Vorkan. As they approached the final jump point, tension throughout the fleet reached its peak. Dr. Chen had managed to compose a basic greeting in what she believed was the Arcanian language. Combat simulations ran continuously. Medical units prepared for potential casualties. On the bridge of the Thunderchild, Commander Reyes addressed her officers one final time before the jump. "In 10 minutes, we'll arrive at the Arcanian system. We've trained, we've prepared, but we're still heading into the unknown. Remember your duty, to Earth, to this fleet, and to the principles that make us who we are." She looked at each face in turn. Sound battle stations, all hands to combat positions. Throughout the massive ship and across the fleet, alarms sounded. Marines secured themselves in drop pods. Fighter pilots climbed into their craft. Gunners manned their stations. "Hawking drives at full charge," reported the navigation officer. "All ships signaling ready, Commander." Reyes took her command seat. "Execute final jump." The fleet vanished from normal space one final time. When they re-emerged, the Arcanian system spread before them. 8 planets orbiting a yellow sun similar to Earth's. The third planet glowed blue-green in the distance, and surrounding it was a blockade of dark, angular ships. "Vorkan vessels detected," announced the sensor officer. 47 ships in orbit around the third planet. They're breaking formation, moving to intercept. Reyes studied the tactical display. Life signs on the planet. Confirmed. Detecting multiple population centers. The Arcanians are still alive. The Vorkin are hailing us, reported the communications officer. Put them through. The main view screen activated, revealing a being that sent a primitive shiver down Reyes's spine. The Vorkin was reptilian, with scaled skin the color of tarnished copper and vertical slit pupils and yellow eyes. A ridge of spines ran from its head down its neck, flaring with what appeared to be aggression. Unidentified vessels, the alien said, its words translated by the ship's AI. You have entered sovereign Vorkin territory. Withdraw immediately or be destroyed. Reyes stood, facing the screen. I am Commander Elena Reyes of the United Earth Defense Force. We received a distress call from the Arcanians and have come to offer assistance. Your blockade and occupation of their world is in violation of their sovereignty. The Vorkin's spines flared wider. The weak exist to serve the strong. This is the natural order. The Arcanians refuse to submit, so they must be eradicated. This is not your concern, Earth creatures. Depart or share their fate. That's not how we see things, Reyes replied. We're giving you one opportunity to withdraw your forces from this system peacefully. The Vorkin made a sound that might have been laughter. You are outnumbered. Your technology is primitive. Your species is unknown to us. Do you truly believe you can challenge the Vorkin Dominion? Reyes smiled thinly. We're about to find out. All ships, battle formation Delta. Weapons free. As the view screen went dark, Retribution Fleet moved into action. Humanity's first interstellar war had begun. When humans enter the fight, the Vorkin attacked immediately, their ships moving with predatory grace. Energy beams lanced across space toward the human fleet, only to be absorbed by advanced shield systems developed from hard lessons during the Mars conflict. Return fire, Commander Reyes ordered. Target their forward vessels. The Thunderchild's main cannon discharged, a beam of concentrated energy that pierced the lead Vorkin cruiser from bow to stern. The alien vessel exploded silently in the vacuum. Throughout the fleet, human gunners targeted the approaching enemy. Fighters launched from the carrier vessels, streaking toward the Vorkin formation. They're breaking into smaller groups, reported Major Hamada from the tactical station. Trying to surround us. Reyes nodded. Classic predator tactic. They're used to hunting weaker prey. Execute maneuver Theta 7. The human ships shifted positions with practiced precision, forming a defensive sphere that prevented the Vorkin from isolating any single vessel. The battle intensified as both sides probed for weaknesses. Lieutenant Commander Singh studied the sensor readings. Commander, the Vorkin ships have superior acceleration, but their weapons require a 9-second recharge after firing. That's our window. Send that data to all vessels, Reyes ordered. Coordinate fire to exploit the gap. As the space battle raged, Reyes dispatched a stealth shuttle carrying a small team to the planet's surface. Led by Chief Intelligence Officer Nadia Volkov, their mission was to contact the Arcanians and assess the situation on the ground. The shuttle slipped past the Vorkin blockade, using the battle as cover. As they entered the atmosphere, they got their first clear view of the Arcanian civilization. Gleaming cities with spiraling towers, now partially in ruins from orbital bombardment. They landed in a forested area near the largest city. Using the translation matrix Dr. Chen had developed, they broadcast a simple message. We are humans. We heard your call. We have come to help. Within an hour, they were surrounded by Arcanians, tall, willowy beings with 4 arms and skin that shimmered with iridescent patterns. Their large eyes regarded the humans with obvious amazement. One stepped forward, wearing an elaborate collar that seemed to mark authority. You received our message. After all this time. We did, Volkov replied. We came as soon as we could. The Arcanian made a gesture with its 4 hands that seemed to express deep emotion. We had lost hope. For 58 cycles, the Vorkin have hunted us. Our cities fall one by one. We are not warriors. We never developed weapons of mass destruction. We believed wisdom and art were the height of civilization. How have you survived this long? Volkov asked. We hide. We build underground. Some of us developed rudimentary weapons, but against the Vorkin. The Arcanian's skin darkened, apparently indicating distress. Our fleet is engaging the Vorkin blockade now, Volkov explained. But we need to understand exactly what we're dealing with. The Arcanian leader introduced himself as Sentinel Ilyrix and took the human team to an underground complex beneath the city. There, they saw thousands of Arcanians living in crowded conditions, children being taught in whispers, gardens grown under artificial light. This is all that remains of our capital, Ilyrix explained. 10 million reduced to less than 1. The Vorkin hunt us for sport as much as conquest. In a secure chamber, Arcanian scientists showed the humans their records of the Vorkin, their biology, their technology, and most importantly, their weaknesses. They evolved as apex predators, explained one scientist, Nazara. Their homeworld has high gravity and extreme temperature variations. It made them strong, aggressive, and adaptable, but also hierarchical and prone to factionalism. Volkov transmitted this intelligence back to the fleet, where the battle had reached a stalemate. The human ships had formed a protective barrier around the planet, preventing further Vorkin bombardment, but couldn't break through their lines. When Commander Reyes received Volkov's data, she immediately called her senior staff together. The Vorkin evolved on what they call a hunting world, she explained. High gravity, extreme temperatures, vicious predators. They believe this makes them superior to species from more temperate planets. Major Hamada smiled grimly. They haven't met humans before. Exactly, Rise replied. Earth would classify as what they call a death world, a planet so hostile that sapient life shouldn't be able to evolve there. Our gravity is higher than theirs. Our temperature range is more extreme. We survived predators that would rival anything on their world. They think they're facing soft aliens like the Arcanians, added Lieutenant Commander Singh. They have no idea what humans are capable of. Rice formulated a new strategy. Rather than continue the space battle on the Vorkin's terms, she would demonstrate humanity's unique capabilities. Major Hamada, prepare your Marines for deployment. I want 3,000 troops ready to drop in 2 hours. Lieutenant Commander Singh, adapt our communications to broadcast on all Vorkin frequencies. It's time they learned exactly what they're facing. As the Marines prepared for combat, Reyes opened a channel to the Vorkin command ship. The same reptilian commander appeared, his expression smug. Have you come to surrender, Earth creature? Your ships fight well, but you cannot win. Actually, Reyes replied calmly, I wanted to share some information with you. Your scientists classify worlds by their hostility to life, correct? With garden worlds being the most hospitable and death worlds being the most dangerous. The Vorkin commander's spines flattened slightly in surprise. This is correct. We Vorkin evolved on a prime hunting world, which is why we rule those from lesser environments. I thought you'd find it interesting to know that by your own classification system, Earth would rank as a Class 5 death world. The gravity is 1.2 times that of your home world. Our temperature variations are 30% more extreme. The predators that our ancestors faced would hunt your kind for sport. The Vorkin's eyes narrowed. You lie to intimidate us. Not at all. I'm simply explaining why this battle is about to change dramatically. Rice smiled. You see, we didn't evolve to be conquerors. We evolved to survive. And we're very, very good at it. At that moment, 3,000 drop pods launched from the human fleet, streaking toward the Vorkin ground bases on the planet. Each pod contained a Marine in powered combat armor designed for Earth's crushing gravity, armor that made them nearly unstoppable on the lighter Arcanian world. The Vorkin commander roared in rage as his sensors detected the launch. This changes nothing. My warriors will feast on your bones. I doubt that, Rise replied. But don't take my word for it. Watch. The Marine drop pods crashed through the Vorkin defensive lines with devastating effect. When the doors blew open, what emerged seemed like creatures from a nightmare to the Vorkin soldiers, humans in powered armor, moving with impossible speed and strength in the lower gravity. Major Hamada led the assault, his voice calm over the tactical channel as he directed the Marines to secure key Vorkin positions. Remember your training. In this gravity, you can jump 3 times higher, hit 5 times harder. Use it. The Vorkin fought fiercely, but they had never faced an enemy like humans before. Species they had previously conquered had evolved on worlds more hospitable than their own. Their entire strategy and psychology was built around being the strongest, the most brutal, the best adapted to harsh conditions. Against humans, Deathworlders of the highest order, these advantages disappeared. On the Thunderchild's bridge, Commander Rice watched the battle unfold with grim satisfaction. Focus fire on their command ships, she ordered. Cut off their ability to coordinate. Within hours, the tide had turned. On the ground, human Marines secured Vorkin strongholds one by one. In orbit, the alien fleet began to break formation, individual captains making desperate attempts to escape. The Vorkin commander made one final transmission. What are you?" he hissed, his ship burning around him. "We're humans," Rise replied simply. "And we just answered a call for help." 3 days later, the last Vorkin ship fled the system. On the surface, Arcanian citizens emerged from hiding, gazing in wonder at the sky now free of their tormentors. In the capital city, Sentinel Elerix hosted Commander Reyes and her senior staff in a ceremony of gratitude. "For half a century, we suffered under their cruelty," Elerix said, addressing the assembled Arcanians and humans. "We sent our cry into the darkness, hoping someone would hear. The humans not only heard, they came." The Arcanian gestured toward Reyes. They crossed vast distances to aid a species they had never met. They risked their lives for our freedom. Today, we honor them not just as our saviors, but as our friends. Reyes stepped forward, suddenly conscious that she was making history. "The Vorkin believe that strength gives the right to dominate. We believe strength carries the responsibility to protect. That is the difference between them and us." She looked out at the Arcanians, their skin shimmering with patterns she now knew expressed profound joy. "Today marks the beginning of a new chapter for both our peoples. Earth extends its hand, or in your case, hands, in friendship. Together, we will rebuild what was lost and ensure the Vorkin never threaten your world again." As the ceremony concluded, Major Hamada approached Reyes privately. "Word from the fleet, Commander. Our long-range sensors have detected communication buoys activating throughout this sector. News of what happened here is spreading." "To other Vorkin?" Reyes asked. "To everyone. Dozens of species are picking up the transmissions. They're learning about Earth, about humans, about what we did here." Reyes gazed up at the stars, visible now in the darkening Arcanian sky. "So much for our quiet entrance onto the galactic stage. Intelligence suggests the Vorkin have conquered or exterminated 7 other species before the Arcanians," Hamada continued. "Those worlds might still have survivors, and there could be other aggressors out there. Other species like the Vorkin. One battle at a time, Major." Reyes smiled slightly. "But yes, I suspect our work is just beginning." 2 weeks later, as Retribution Fleet prepared to return to Earth, Commander Reyes received a transmission from an unknown source. The message was brief but clear. "We see what you did for the Arcanians. We too face extinction. Will the Deathworlders answer another call?" Reyes looked at the coordinates attached to the message. A star system 120 light-years from Earth, in the opposite direction from home. She thought of the Arcanians emerging from hiding, of children playing openly for the first time in decades, of a species saved from extinction. She opened a channel to Earth Command. "This is Commander Reyes. We've completed our mission at Arcanian Prime. Request permission for Retribution Fleet to respond to a new distress call." The galaxy was about to learn that when the Deathworlders of Earth heard a cry for help, they answered.